हरि ओं सुप्रभातं सर्वेभ्यः हार्दांसि नमांसि। सुप्रभातं। सरस्वती महाभागे विद्ये कमललोचने विश्वरूपे विशालाक्षी विद्यां देहि नमोऽस्तुते। विद्यां देहि नमोऽस्तुते। Welcome you all to yet another session of Malavikagnimitram in the Ola Sanskrit Sahitya-rasa Swada series. I hope you are enjoying, and we are now going ahead and before that I had given some homework to you. Some people have done that homework and there are some questions also. So I will deal with the questions every class. If you have any questions, I will deal with the questions first and then take ahead that class, okay? So Pratibha Atleji, she has asked two questions. One is, why is Prakrit used in the play? Why Prakrit is used in the play? Because even if the ladies speak in Prakrit, they are supposed to understand Sanskrit spoken by others. Then what is the prayojana and why that restriction is there by Bharata Muni, okay? So this I would simply say, because these are mostly the lady characters, the women characters, Prakriti is the natural, what naturally comes to the ladies is Prakrit. In fact, Hemachandra, the Prakrit grammarian, who wrote the Prakrit grammar, he says Prakritihi Sanskritam tad bhavam tata agatam iti prakritam. So Sanskrit is the Moola Prakriti and Prakrit derives from that, but because it is little simplified, Sanskrit is refined whereas Prakrit is a simplified version. Of course, we are not used to reading Prakrit and therefore reading Sanskrit becomes easy for us, but instead of dharma saying dhamma, that ra and ma, they are viruddha vyanjanas. Instead of that dhamma, it becomes the similar thing. So it's quite natural and therefore Prakrit is used. So it is easier than Sanskrit supposedly because Prakrit is not a spoken language now. Neither Pali nor Ardhamagadhi nor Maharashtri or this Magadhi and others, Shauraseni and others, they are no more prevalent. And therefore we feel Sanskrit is easier, but perhaps in those olden days, the common people used to talk in Prakrit that was more natural, easy way of communication, therefore Prakrit is used. I hope this answers your question. The second question is, Malavika was betrothed to King Agnimitra, but neither the king nor the queen had any knowledge of this alliance. This is not true. This is not true. Both had this knowledge. In fact, I may take you back to the letter which Agnimitra has written to Yajnasena, and Yajnasena also, when Raja and Amatya, they enter, it is with the Lekha Hasta, right? And if I take you back, idam idanim anena pratilikhitam pujyenaham adishtaha bhavatah pitruvya putraha kumaraha madhavasenaha pratishruta sambandhaha. One who has betrothed, the sambandha has been established, has been decided, pratishruta, promised. Mama upantika samupasarpan, while he was coming to me with his sister, antara, in the midway, tvadiyena antapalena avaskandya grihitaha. It was your fort in charge, the Senapati Antapala, the frontier guard, who attacked him and who captured him. So both the king and the queen are aware that Madhavasena has promised to give his sister Malavika in marriage to Agnimitra. Both knew it. And if you come to the end of this drama, you will see how Dharini feels so very guilty because Malavika was would-be queen would be, her co-wife. She was already betrothed to Agnimitra, and she should have treated her as a younger sister, and she made her work as a maid servant. So she feels so very guilty, So both knew, okay. So this is not true that they didn't know, okay. I hope both these questions are answered. The third one, I had given you a question, a homework. We are going to read the verses by Ganadasa and Haradatta, and in the two editions which I am referring to, they are exactly opposite. The first verse is told by Ganadasa in one edition, whereas Kale says that the first verse is by Haradatta and the second one is by Ganadasa. So I had left it to you to decide, and I think Uma Iyer has given the answer. Before that, I think I should read the verses, and then I would read the answer, how she justifies why the first verse is of Ganadasa. Okay, so with this 5 minutes, I think before every class we can devote some 5-10 minutes for this question answers, so that it becomes more interactive, for you all. Okay, so now Kanchuki has reported the king that Bhavau iva sharirinau, Sakshat Bhavau iva sharirinau, these two dance masters are here. And then king says, Praveshayatau yadadnyapayati itaito bhavantau, he brings them along. And then the first verse is stated here. I won't say who speaks it, Aho durasado Rajamahima. Oh, the Rajamahima, the greatness of the king is very difficult to capture. Dukkham asaditum, it's not very easy to capture, to describe the greatness of a king is very, very difficult. Aho durasado Rajamahima. And then the person, the dance master says, Nachana parichito, nachapyaramyaha, chakitamupayimi tathapi parshvamasya, salila nidhiriva pratikshanam me, bhavati sa eva navo ayam akshnoho. Maybe we'll see the anvaya and the meaning of every word, and then go for the deeper meaning and the alankara, rasa, dhvani, whatever. So, nachana parichitaha iti, ayam, this Agnimitra, it is not that he is not known to me. Parichita, known, familiar, acquainted, okay. Nachana parichitaha, ayam refers to the king. Ayam Agnimitraha, ayam Raja, parichitaha na iti na. Simple sentence. It is not that he is not familiar to me. Double negatives making strong affirmation. That means I know him very well, he knows me very well, right? Nacha na parichitaha. Always two negations make a very, very strong affirmation. Nacha na parichitaha. Nachapi aramyaha. It's not that he is not very charming, not good looking. Sometimes some countenances, some forms are so fierce or so dreadful, you feel, very apprehensive while approaching them. But this king is good looking, very charming, handsome. So, nacha aramyaha, again two negations. Ramya is good looking, charming, aramya, not good looking. Nacha aramyaha. Na and a. A is the negation only, the naikara only. So, nacha aramyaha. So, it is not that he is not familiar, it is not that he is not charming or good looking, who would, drive me away from him. I can't approach him, not like that. Nacha aramyaha, still, yet what happens? Chakitam upayimi asya parshvam, tathapi, even then, aham asya parshvam upayimi chakitam. I feel afraid when I go near him. Asya parshvam upa. Upa is near. Emi, that is to go in gatau. Asya parshvam, near him. Near him. But though a person, sometimes we feel because he is not so good looking, sometimes it's not only the form, the looks, but the bhava in the eyes. Some people, with their eyes, they suggest, oh, you are not welcome when you go near them. You will not be welcomed by them at all. And whereas some others' faces, the eyes themselves are so inviting, they call you near you. They call you near the person. So it is not that he is a Ramya, that means he is good looking, his eyes have that compassion, his eyes have that, what you can say, a familiar look towards me, and because he is familiar to me, parichitaha, and therefore the bhava in his eyes also, it is not diverting me or dissuading me away from him, yet when I go near him, I am little scared, I am little frightened. Chakita is exactly opposite of the Marathi Chakita, okay. In Marathi we use the word Chakita as, oh, Ashcharya Chakita. Ashcharya Chakita. It's not in that sense of, something splendid you see something marvelous, Adbhuta, and then you become Chakita, startled or amazed, marveled at that thing. It's not like that. Chakita Chakita Harini. Normally, Chakita Chakita, this is used by Kalidasa in the reference of a doe who is frightened by some sounds, and she fears, oh, there must be some hunter nearby, and she starts fleeing away. She starts running away. Chakita Chakita. Chakita Chakita Prekshane. In the Meghaduta, the Yakshini's description is like this only. So the eyes of the doe which are frightened, which are startled when she hears some unfamiliar sound, that becomes Chakita Chakite Kshana. So Chakitam upayimi tathapi parshvamasya, and then there comes a beautiful simile, anupama alankara, salila nidhihi iva, pratikshanam me ayam, pratikshanam ayam mama akshnoho nava navo bhavati. He appears to my eyes new. Every moment he appears to be new to me, like what? Salila nidhihi iva, like the reservoir of water. Salila nidhi kosha, salilasya nidhihi, ocean. So he appears to me like an ocean who appears new for every moment. Now this is so very familiar upama, and this is so very familiar, this is so very peculiar to Kalidasa. In Raghuvamsha also, he uses similar upama for Dileepa. Bhima kantaihi nripagunaihi. Because of his Bhima guna and Nripaguna, King Dileepa adhrishyaschadhigamyascha. He is at the same time adhrishya, inaccessible, and adhigamya, adhrishya because of his bhima guna, his parakrama, and adhigamya because of his kanta guna, right? Similarly here, it is not that he is not familiar, so I should go in front of him like the students approaching the favorite teacher. They don't hesitate in going near the teacher because there is a bond of familiarity, right? You are not afraid of me. So, so there is a familiarity, but too much familiarity breeds contempt as well. Santatagamana anadaro bhavati, right? But there is like adara yuktam bhayam. For a teacher, for elderly people, for the king, howsoever familiar the king may be, while approaching the king, there will be some sort of respect, and that respect generates some sort of fear. It is not that fear, oh, what that king will do to me. It's not that fear, but his greatness is such that every time you go near him, there is a small amount of, what he will think of me, what the king will feel about me. And this, because he appears new, it is not the same king I saw yesterday, I saw 1 month back, I saw a year back. Every moment he appears new to me, like Salila Nidhihi Iva. You just go on the beach of a sea and just sit there relaxed. How would you feel? Without talking to anybody, without looking into your mobile for the first thing. That is the first thing. You should not do anything. You should not talk to anybody and just sit quietly there. That solitude, that is the samadhi, that is the ekanta which you get to contemplate on something, and you just look at that. Every gaze, every moment, you see the colors of the ocean changing, the form is changing. Just today morning, early morning, I returned from Rameshwaram, Dhanushkodi and Madurai. The sea at Rameshwaram, sometimes it is turquoisey green, sometimes it is blue, sometimes it is green, and especially in the evening time we were there day before yesterday, because of the sun is setting, the clouds have that reddish, pinkish hue, and that color gets reflected in the water. So many beautiful things, beautiful colors you can see. So, Navo Navo Ayam Akshnoho. Salila Nidhi, it changes its form. So, every moment it appears to be new to you. Mahakavi Magha says in Shishupalavadha, Kshane Kshane Yannavatamupaiti Tadeva Rupam Ramaniyatayaha. What is called charming? Ramaniya. What do you call? What is the definition of Ramaniyatva? Kshane Kshane Yannavatamupaiti. That which appears new to you every moment. That indeed is charming. The charm or the beauty cannot be static. It has to be dynamic. It has to be in flux. And therefore, this is a very apt upama for a king like Agnimitra, who is very brave. He is a warrior king, right? And he has established his kirti, his mahima amongst his feudatory kings. We saw from Sindhu till Narmada, his samrajya is spread up, right? So it's not possible if the king is only, engrossed in his pleasures and all. In this particular drama, in the context of Malavika, he seems to be Dhira Lalita more, but overall picture of Agnimitra could be Udatta, and especially for the people who are dependent on him, Adhikaris, they would least care about his Lalitya and they would only emphasize on his Udattatva. And therefore, this dance master says, Salila Nidhihi va pratikshanam me bhavati sa eva navo navo ayam akshnoho. To my eyes, he appears to be new every moment like an ocean. So, very beautiful upama alankara, and this happens to be, the vritta is called Pushpitagra. Pushpitagra vritta has, it is called Ardhasama vritta. The first and the third line have 12 syllables and the second and the fourth, the even, has 13 syllables. So, this is Pushpitagra vritta, and very nice upama alankara. And something else I think is there, yeah, this is like Vibhavana or something else, yeah. I had marked here something like Vibhavana, or Atishayokti is also there, Atishayokti, because he is not the same person. I see him new every day. This is something hyperbolic expression, right? So, like the ocean which presents a new surface. So, Atishayokti. And yeah, Vibhavana, because the fear is mentioned, but what is the cause of the fear? Chakitam upaimi. I have fear in my mind. I have little apprehension before I approach him. But what is the karana? Karana should be unfamiliarity, that is not there. Second karana should be his form, which is aramya, it is not there. So, even though there is no karana, there is a karya. In the first verse, what we saw? There is karana, but there is no karya, that is Visheshokti, and this is Vibhavana. These are two sides of the same alankara. One is karane satyapi karyabhavaha, and the other is karane asati karyasya sattvam. Okay, so the karya, the chakitatva is there, but the karana for that, the probable karanas he has given. If there is no parichaya, if you are approaching somebody, you have taken an appointment of some officer and you are going to meet that officer for the first time, you have heartbeats, there are butterflies in your stomach and everything, because he is not parichita. Sometimes there is parichita, but that person, some people have repulsive faces. Repulsive means you don't feel like going near them, you don't feel like talking to them. So it is, both these karanas are not there. So karane asati api karyasya sattvam vibhavana. So these two are exactly opposite alankaras, vibhavana and visheshokti, which we saw in the first Nandi verse. Okay. So this is uttered by one dance master. And then the second one now, Mahat khalu purushakaramidam jyotihi. Oh, this is a jyotihi. Mahat khalu purushakaram jyotihi. Jyoti in Marathi literature and Marathi, for Marathi people it's the name of a girl, and Jyoti is feminine, but Jyotish is neuter gender word. Basically, we keep so many names, we have Nilima. Nilima is the name of a girl, but Niliman, like Mahiman, is a Pullinga Shabda, is a masculine gender, right? So these are and Sharad, we keep the name of a boy or a man, but Sharad, Sharad is Strilinga in Sanskrit, right? So there are some, that's why we say the rules may be something different, but the actual practice, so Shastrat Rudhir Baliyasi, that's how the proverb has come into existence. Okay. So Mahat Khalu Idam Purushakaram Jyotihi. So this luster, Jyotihi, luster. Mahat, this is great luster in the form of Purusha. Purushasya akara, Purushakara. Okay. Purushasya. So this Jyoti has taken the form of a man. So this is an embodied appearance of the great luster. It is Jyoti personified. Okay. Mahat Purushakaram idam Jyotihi. In some variant readings, it is Purushadhikaram. There is one Pathabheda, Purushadhikaram. But Purushadhikara doesn't look good here, Maybe Purushakara, some scribe while writing, he said Purusha Adhikara because he is a king, no? So he is Adhikari. So maybe some scribe has written like that. Ultimately, there are so many scribal errors. This is a very important and interesting topic in the manuscriptology. How people sometimes inadvertently, sometimes deliberately commit certain mistakes. The scribes, especially while writing, they are called scribal errors. Maybe sometime we'll talk on manuscriptology and scribal errors. But this could be a scribal error. Instead of Purushakaram, it is Purushadhikaram, not Kara, Adhikara, not just Akara. So Purushadhikaram. Kale has suggested, M.R. Kale has suggested, Purushadhikaranam Mahat Jyotihi. In the text he has written it as Purushakaram Mahadidam Jyotihi, but in the notes at the end of the translation and all, at the end he gives notes. In those critical notes, he has considered one Pathabheda as Purushadhikaranam, but Purushakara, Purushadhikara seems little closer, but Purushakara and Purushadhikarana, 2-3 syllables additional, this seems far-fetched, but he justifies that, you could have Purushadhikara and Purushadhikarana, then you can discuss about this. So which Pathabheda you can adopt. And then he says, instead of Purushadhikara, it is Purushadhikarana, which is more suitable because Purushaha eva adhikaranam, substratum of this Jyotihi. Adhikarana is sthana. We call Adhikarana Karaka as locative, location, right? So for Jyoti, this Purusha form, the form of this Agnimitra is the Adhikarana, the substratum, the location, the foundation where it stays, where it abides. So Purusha Adhikaranam. So this is how you have to think and ponder over various Adhikaranas and choose one of the 2, 3, okay. So Purusha Adhikaranam is also a wonderful Pathabheda. Mahat khalu purushakaramidam jyotihi tathahi. And then he explains why this Jyoti is called Purushakara and how he wants to praise that luster of King Agnimitra. He says, Dware niyukta purushabhimata praveshaha simhasanantika charena sahopasarpan तेजोभिरस्य विनिवर्तित दृष्टिपातैः वाक्यादृते पुनरिव प्रतिवारितोऽस्मि. द्वारे नियुक्त पुरुष अभिमत प्रवेशः. There is some person who is appointed at the gate. द्वारे नियुक्त पुरुष. तेन अभिमतः प्रवेशः यस्य तादृशः अहम्. That Purusha, that Dwarapala, the gatekeeper, he allowed me to enter. He permitted me to enter. And that's why I am entering. Dware sthitaha niyuktaha yaha adhikari purushaha tena mama praveshaha abhimataha tena praveshitaha aham. Okay, Nijanta. Simhasanantika charena saha upasarpan. So, while going to the king, what are the boundaries where you are likely to be, warded off or, not allowed like that. You are prohibited from entering in. First of all, there is a gatekeeper. That gatekeeper allowed me to go in. After that, I entered from the gate, main gate, but still I have to reach the king. There, the Simhasana Antika Chara. There is this person who is Kanchuki, who is Simhasanantika Chara. Simhasana, Rajasana, the throne. Antika Chara, one who moves around close to the Rajasimhasana. So very close person to the king who, who manipulates or maneuvers the arrival and the departure of the people coming and going, to see the king. So he is the Kanchuki. You remember Kanchuki goes out and says that these are the bhava viva, sakshat bhava viva sharirinav, and then praveshayatav. So it is Kanchuki who actually brings them to the king. Gatekeeper just allows, okay, go. Like to these spears, the bhala, this is the regular picture, right? At the gate, 2 people will stand there crossing their spears. And then somebody wants to go, okay, go. So he is let in, right? I mean, you can visualize the entire thing, the dramatization. Though it is not given here, you can visualize how it happens. And then actually the Kanchuki takes both of these near the king. The king is seated on the throne. So near the king, Simhasanantika Charena Saha Upasarpan, okay, going near. But, so now I have come allowed by the gatekeeper and taken near the king by Kanchuki. Tejo bhirasya vinivartita drishtipataihi vakyadrite punariva prativaritosmi. But I feel as if I am prativarita, I am prohibited, I am like dissuaded from uttering anything by the very lustrous form of the king. If you just imagine, even if the gatekeeper has allowed you, the Kanchuki has brought you near the king says, no, I don't want to see you. Don't come here, go away. Then, here, Vakyadrite, the king is not uttering anything of the sort, ma agamaha, please don't come. Nothing like that. Still, I feel prativaritaha asmi. I am dissuaded, from going near him because of what? not because of his words, tejobhihi asya, because of his luster. Tejobhihi, this is plural. In the first sentence it is mahat purushakaram idam jyoti, that is accumulated luster. Okay, tejacha gola, like. And then here tejobhihi, the rays of the luster emanating from his entire body, his eyes, his skin, his everything, I mean whatever he does, it is like the personified luster. So every avayava, every cell of his body emanates that luster. So tejobhirasya vinivartita drishtipataihi. So though Kanchuki has brought me very near to the king, I cannot look at the king in his eyes. Vinivartita drishtipata, my eyes get they are reverted back because tejobhihi asya. Just imagine while you are driving in the night road, the open road, and the vehicle coming from front, it gives you headlights. The driver can't see what's going on. He has also lighted, his vehicle also has lit the lights. But if you put the headlights on, then, and therefore, those of you who drive dimmer, deeper and dimmer should be used and not the headlights, because the headlights vinivartita drishtipataihi, and therefore during the night time the accidents are more, because you can't see those, you can't see anything in front of you. Chaka chaund ho jana, that's what we say in Hindi, right? Chaka chaund ho jana, and that blindens you for a moment, and that's why there were so many accidents. So nobody says don't move ahead, but then the light is so prakhara that you can't see anything, and therefore you as if revert back. So here Agnimitra is personified Jyoti, personified luster, and therefore though I am brought near him, yet I can't look him into his eyes and I can't utter anything, because his luster dissuades me. It pushes me back. Okay? The luster emanating from his body, tejobhirasya vinivartita drishtipataihi vakyadrite punariva prativaritosmi. As if I am warded off. As if. This is utpreksha alankara. This is not upama. This is because, the king being described as Jyoti personified, this is Rupaka. So this is not in real, and therefore the warding off is imagined to be so. This is Kavi Praudhokti. Wherever there is Kavi Praudhokti, there is Utpreksha Alankara. Okay. So this is Utpreksha Alankara and a beautiful Vasanta Tilaka Vritta Utpreksha Alankara. Now Dware. Do you want to know the etymology of Dwara? I mean, it just occurred to me. What is the etymology of Dwara? Dwara is a door. Phonetically, Dwara and door are also cognate. So door is derived from Dwara. That's how we take pride in that. Okay. But what is Dwara basically? In the Nirukta of Yaskacharya, every class Nirukta has to come, right? So that is my weakness or my stronghold, whatever. So Nirukti is Varnagamaadapi Nirukti bhavati. Varnagamo bhavedvapi, Varna viparyaya, Varna nasha. There are panchavidam niruktam, dhatos tadarthati, shayena yukta, etc. So this becomes by Varnagama. How? It is basically Varayati iti dwaram dakaraha agamaha. Dakaraha Varnasya dakarasya agamaha tatra bhavati. Simple thing, you imagine to be in our 21st century. Yaska wrote it 7th century BCE, okay? But even now, you open the door for those whom you welcome. There are so many salesgirls, salespeople, and you just see from the peephole or just open the door and shut it on their face. Varayati. You prohibit them from entering in, right? Varayati iti dvaram. Isn't it wonderful? And so very arthanityam pariksheta. Samskaram na adriyeta. There is no like samskara here. What is samskara? Prakriti pratyaya rupa vyakarana samskara. And therefore, Niruktakara claims, Yaska claims, Tadidam vidyasthanam vyakaranasya kartsnyam. This is the totality of Vyakarana. This goes one step ahead of Vyakarana. Vyakarana gives, it's bound by the rules and regulations. Nirukta goes a step ahead because it doesn't bother about the samskara, the Prakriti Pratyayatmika samskara, but only tallies the Artha Nityatva. The meaning of the root and the meaning of the word, the Kridanta, whatever, because Natatra Namani Akhyata Jani, all the names are derived from the roots, right? All the names are derived from the roots. So there should be the meaning of the word and the meaning of the root should be tallying. As long as you do that, it's well and good. Don't bother about samskara, okay? So, dvare niyukta purushabhimata praveshaha. So, we have seen these two verses. Now, this was an open question to you, and Uma Iyer has replied it intelligently. She says, my answer regarding question posed by Gauri ji, the first verse is by Ganadasa, not by Haradatta, since it presupposes relatively more familiarity with the king than the queen Dharini and Malavika than Haradatta. I mean, this is not the justification in a way, in the sense, because I tell you, Ganadasa is patronized by the queen Dharini and Haradatta is patronized by the king because he is the teacher of Iravati. Okay? So, this is not true that there is something to, what is that, twofold? Is there any remark there? Just show me that remark. Twofold implement to. I can't read it properly here. Anyhow, but then this justification is wrong. The first verse could be of Ganadasa because he poses more familiarity than Haradatta. It should be the other way. And perhaps because of this, Kale has taken the first verse by Haradatta and the second verse by Ganadasa. Ganadasa is patronized by the queen Dharini. Okay? And now she has assigned Malavika to him, entrusted Malavika to him to be trained in the Natya and Nritya. Whereas Haradatta is his appointee, king's appointee. This is the reason why Kale has put the first verse in the mouth of Haradatta and the second one in the mouth of Ganadasa. But given that he is teaching Malavika a difficult form of dance as per Dharini's instructions, he thinks himself to be on the higher footing than Haradatta and hence he speaks first. This is justifiable. This reason I like. I personally feel the first verse is by Ganadasa. I personally feel the first verse is by Ganadasa, the second is by Haradatta, and the second reason which Uma Iyerji has given, this works good here because there is a specific task given to Ganadasa and he boasts and with all the Atmabhimana, he feels that he is superior to Haradatta because he is entrusted a special duty by the queen and he is significantly accomplishing that because Malavika is such a talented student. And therefore, he feels himself to be superior and therefore, he says that Nacha na parichitaha. If Haradatta were to say this, Nacha na parichitaha won't come at all because Haradatta is appointed by the king. Right? For Ganadasa, who is appointed by the queen, he meeting Agnimitra will be on the lesser occasion than Haradatta meeting Agnimitra. And therefore, when he says Nachana Parichitaha, makes sense because multiple occasions he might have also seen and met Agnimitra. Right? But still he feels because of his innate capability and his superiority which he feels he has over Haradatta, he feels that, I feel that the first verse is by him, because for him Agnimitra appears new every moment. Though I know him through Queen Dharini, I have met him on many occasions, but yet when I come here now, I feel him new to me. Right? For Haradatta it won't be new, because Haradatta would be more familiar to the king. This is my logic. I mean, you may have your own logic as well, but this is an interesting exercise, Allah, isn't it? So this would be an interesting exercise. Who said to whom and what? To whom we know, to Agnimitra, but who said this? So it is Ganadas, and because there is a variation, there is a chance and opportunity for us to dwell deep into that and deliberate and put our logic into it. So I feel first is Ganadasa. Umaji, I agree with you. And the second is by Haradatta. The first argument maybe it's not good, but the second argument works here. So of course, I mean, who said it, that is immaterial at the end of the day. This is just to, make people think differently. Right? Okay, then Kanchuki Esha Devah Upasarpatam Bhavanto Vijayatam Devah Swagatam Bhavatbhyam Asane Tavadatra Bhavatoho. So when the king orders for the asanas are brought. And then Ubha Parijana Upanitayoho Asanayoho Upavishto. The Parijana brings the asana, some stools, something, and they are seated. Then Raja, when both are seated, first, anybody comes, what we offer them first is asana. Then inquire. First, please sit here. You can't खड़े खड़े बातें नहीं करते. पहले बिठाइए उनको अच्छे से, because they are masters, right? So now he talks to them. He inquiring. किमिदं शिष्योपदेश काले युगपद आचार्याभ्याम अत्र उपस्थानम. Oh, this is your class time. During the class time, I mean, there is a subtle, like warning or, something like, oh, while you should be taking classes with your students, you should be with your students. How come both of you are simultaneously, yugapad, ekakalika? One by one, if you come for something, it's okay, but both of you should be engaging your students now. In the class, in the Sangeeta Shala, Ubhabhyam api tatra Sangeeta Shalayam bhavitavyam, idanim yugapad, asmin kale, kathamatra upasthanam. Maybe casual, maybe like little sarcasm in that. Shruyatam maya sutirthad abhinaya vidya sushikshita. Ganadasa comes first. Here also, Haradatta is patronized by the king. He should have got the first chance to speak, because Ganadasa has the feeling of superiority over Haradatta. He speaks first. Perhaps he is an elderly person, more like, experienced than Haradatta. That is what we get. From the conversation we get. And I tell you, Kalidasa, he is such a wonderful poet. He always portrays characters in pairs. So you can compare and contrast them. Here there is Ganadasa, Haradatta. Queen Dharini, Queen Iravati. In Shakuntala, there is Sharadvata, Sharangarava. Everywhere you have these comparisons. Anasuya, Priyambada. There are different characteristics of every person. So howsoever little role the person, the actor may be playing in the drama, each character has its own speciality. That is very, very typical of Kalidasa's portrayal of the characters. Okay. So Maya Sutirthat, not only Tirtha, Sutirthat. Tirtha is a master. Tiryate anena iti tirtham. Because of whom, with whose help you get across, that is called tirtha. If you remember Kautilya's Arthashastra, if you have read, there are Ashtadasha tirthani, 18 portfolios, 18 officers like Sutradhyaksha, Sunadhyaksha, Sitadhyaksha, all Adhyakshas, these are the tirthas, Ashtadasha. So the cabinet ministry consisted of the king, the cabinet consisted of 18 ministers. Okay. So Tirtha. Tirtha is a typical term used in the Jainism Jainism, and they are the ones, the masters, the arhats, who take you across the Bhavasagar. Tirtha, Bhavasagar se par nauka aapki le jate hai. They are also called Tirtha. Tirtha is a acharya, a preceptor. So I learnt Abhinaya Vidya from a great master. And not only that, I have the knowledge of the Abhinaya Vidya. Datta Prayogaschasmi, I have given the prayogas as well. So it is not just theory, because this is a performing art. Abhinaya Vidya, Nritya Shastra is a performance. You just can't have so many karanas are there, so many mudras are there. But what about your prayoga? You should be able to do that and exhibit that, manifest that in the prayoga. So Datta Prayogaschasmi, Devena Devyacha Parigrihitaha. And I have been, looked after, cared for by Deva, king himself, Bhavata, and Devyacha Parigrihitaha. Badham jane tatakkim. Yes, I know all this. Tatakkim. Saha aham. That me, who learned his vidya from a great master and who has already given so many performances, that me, Ganadasa, aham, Haradattena, by this Haradatta, Pradhana Purusha Samaksham, in front of other great officers, I am mena Padarajasa Pitulyaha iti adhikshiptaha. I was insulted. Adhikshipta. I was insulted by this Haradatta, pointing out to Haradatta, saying what? This, that is Ganadasa himself, this fellow is not even worth the dhulikana, the dust of my feet. Ayam me pada rajasapi natulyaha iti haradattena saha aham adhikshipta. That's how we have come to you. Then it behoves, that Haradatta should say something. He just can't accept it, that he started the quarrel. When two children are quarreling, He Ramba Kimamba, you remember the beautiful verse? Then he would say, no, he did that first. And then he would say, no, he started the quarrel. Like that, Haradatta would say now, Deva, Ayameva Prathamam Parivadakaraha. He started the criticism and the reproaching. He started reproaching me first. And how did he reproach me? Atra bhavataha kila mamacha samudra pallavayoho ivantaram iti. And the way Ganadasa seems to have reproached and abused Haradatta is, Ganadasa is comparing himself to Samudra. That could be another reason why Salila Nidhirivayam Navanavahayam Akshnoho. I mean, Samudra, somewhere that simile, that metaphor goes well with Ganadasa. And he says, he is Samudra and Haradatta is Palvala, a small pond. Palvala, small pond. Dabka, Marathi madhe, Dabka, a small pond. So the difference is so much in the ocean, in the pond. It's not only the quantity of water, it is the greatness and it is the depth also. Samudra is known for Gambhirya. Palvala is so shallow, turbid water. Turbid, Gadhul Pani, right? Palvala, very small pool of water. So the quality, the quantity, the greatness, there is so much of difference. How can you compare an ocean with a Palvala? You can't compare Ganadasa with Haradatta. That is the... But then he says, Haradatta says, he only started the quarrel. No, he said it first that he is like an ocean and I am like a Palvala. Then how can I keep quiet? I also reproached him. Right? Tadatra bhavan imam mamcha shastre prayoge cha vimrishatu. Now he said that Sutirthat Abhinaya Vidya Avapta and Datta Prayogaschasmi. Even I have learned from a great master. My master is not lesser than what Ganadasa's Acharya is. So now you are the best judge. You judge us, you test us in Shastra, in our theory as well as Prayoga. Shastre Prayoge cha Vimrishatu. Deva eva now visheshajnyaha prashnikaha. You are an expert, examiner. Prashnikaha, prashnan karoti iti prashnikaha. Okay. But one who does prashna, asks you prashna, he is the one who examines you. So he is not just a prashnika, he is a judge also. So you are an expert judge and an examiner for both of us. Samartham pratijnatam. Now Vidushaka has started all this, okay. He went to Ganadasa and said, Haradatta is boasting that he is superior. He goes to Haradatta and says, Ganadasa is boasting that he is superior. Now you see. And that's why both of them have come together here. So he, as if, he knows nothing. Samartham, yeah, what you say is proper. Deva eva vimrushatu. Ganadasa also agrees immediately. Prathamah kalpaha. Prathamah kalpaha, udarah kalpaha. Fantastic idea. Let it happen. Avahitaha devaha shrutumarhati. Be the Agnimitra, be ready to listen to us. I mean, we will give our own Shastra Jnana, this and that. Then Raja says, Tishtha tavat or Tishtatu tavat. Instead of Tishtha, it should be Tishtatu. There is a Pataveda. So, they are acharyas. You can't just tell them Tishtha, like second person singular, which is Ajna. Tishtatu bhavan. Tishtatu. Okay. So, these are the smaller things, but what you should accept as a Pataveda. Tishtatu tavat. Pakshapatamatra devi manyate. Because Haradatta is my appointee and Ganadasa is Devi's appointee, right? If I were to decide it solely on my discretion, and if at all Haradatta is favored by me, Devi would feel I am partial to Haradatta. Let her also be here, na? Fair chance to both. Pakshapatamatra devi manyate tadasyaha pandita kaushiki sahitayaha samakshamaeva nyayaha vyavaharaha. Now he doesn't ask only the presence of the queen, but he asks the presence of Pandita Kaushiki, because she is a party to the entire drama of Vidushaka. If you remember, Phalamapi achirad rakshasi, when Vidushaka says, how king asks, and Karane, Vidushaka whispers something in the ears of the king. This is the plan. So Pandita Kaushiki is a party to the entire plan, because Pandita Kaushiki comes with Malavika, right? So, Sushtu Bhavan Bhanati Yad Devaya Rochate Maudgalya, Kanchuki's name. Amum Prastavam Nivedya Pandita Kaushikya Sardham Ahuyatam Devi. Call her along with Pandita Kaushiki. Yadadnyapayati Devaha iti nishkramya saparivrajikaya devya sah pravishtaha ita ito bhavati. Now, when Maudgalya has gone out to bring Parivrajika and queen, he has briefed them about this, that there are these two acharyas and they have some fight over their superiority and all. And therefore, while entering, Dharini enters from one corner and Parivrajika's Vilokya, she says, Bhagavati, Haradattasya Ganadasasya cha samurambhe katham pashyasi. What do you feel? Who would win in their quarrel? Haradatta is king's person. Ganadasa is my person. How do you see how they would fare in this? Alam swapaksha avasada shankaya. Parivrajika she says, swapaksha avasada. Swapaksha, what is the swapaksha for Dharini? Ganadasa. Alam swapaksha avasada shankaya. Don't even have an iota of doubt that your party will lose. Avasada, lose. That Ganadasa will win. Don't be apprehensive. Na parihiyate prativadinaha Ganadasaha. Though Haradatta is favored by the king, Ganadasa is no less in quality than Haradatta. Na prativadinaha hiyate parihiyate Ganadasaha. Like in Vikramorvashi, it is stated, na shachya parihiyate ojasvitataya something. Urvashi is no less than Shachi, Indrani. Na parihiyate. These are the internal, phrases on the basis of which you can easily construct that these dramas are by the same person. That was what was done while deciding the authorship of Bhasa's plays. The internal evidences. Some phrases, they repeatedly come, in every drama. न परिहीयते. यद्यपि एवं तथापि राजपरिग्रहः प्रधानत्वम् उपहरति. I know Ganadasa is good, but Raja-parigraha, Haradatta is Raja's parigraha, no? Raja has favored him, Raja has patronized him. Therefore, I am little afraid whether Ganadasa will lose in this conflict or what. Parivrajika says, and this is a very, very beautiful verse. 5 minutes more, I can complete it. Ai, Radni Shabda Bhajanam Atmanam api Chintayatu Bhavati. You are just giving more importance to Raja Parigraha. You are also queen. Radni, you are also Radni and the chief queen, not like Iravati, the secondary queen. You are the Mahishi. Radni Shabda Bhajanam api Atmanam Chintayatu. You also bear the title of the queen. Why don't you think of that? So Raja can't be, partial to Haradatta because you also exercise equal power. And for that, there is a beautiful drishtanta which Parivrajika gives. Atimatra bhasuratvam pushyati bhanoho parigrahad analaha adhigacchati mahimanam chandropi nisha parigrihitaha. This is like sayam va or naktam va suryaha agnau pravishati. This is a Brahmana vachana. During the evenings, Surya enters Agni. Just imagine, you can brighten Agni, okay? You can light Agni, the terrestrial fire, even during the day. But when the sun is shining with Sahasranshu, then the Agni doesn't look so lustrous. But the same Agni looks lustrous in the evening, in the night. Anala gets that luster from whom? From Surya. So the king is here Surya, Bhanu. And Anala, the Agni, is Haradatta. So Haradatta gets that importance, that that what you can say, an extra mileage, because he is patronized by the king. He derives his luster or he derives his prominence, you can say, through the king, as the fire derives its luster from the sun. But why do you forget that even the moon gets illumined when it is patronized by the night? Nisha parigrihitaha chandraha api mahimanam adhigacchati. So the Nisha here is Queen Dharini and the Chandra is Ganadasa. Exactly, Drishtanta has to be one-to-one correspondence there. If Anala gets its brilliance and it gets nourished by Atimatra Bhasuratvam, that extra splendidness, that lustrousness, that brilliance, Anala gets because of the sun, that is true. But it is equally true that the moon also gets nurtured and attains its greatness when favored by dark night, Nisha. So Nisha is Strilinga, Queen Dharini is queen, she is Dharini, in feminine gender, and here Bhanu is masculine, it goes with King Agnimitra. So though Haradatta is favored by the king and therefore wants to gain prominence, even Ganadasa is gaining prominence because he is favored by you, he is patronized by you. Okay? Atimatra bhasuratvam, like bhasura, bha is the root, bha bhati. Okay? And then there is a pratyaya called urach pratyaya. Similar pratyaya, there are some 2-3 words only, and therefore I am tempted to tell you that. Like from bhanja, bhagna is the past passive participle, bhangura, and we always use the word kshana bhangura, breakable, bhanguratvam. So that from root bhanja, it is urach pratyaya, it becomes bhangura. Bha root, it is urach pratyaya, it becomes bhasura. And there is one medura, one who has a lot of fat on his body, he is called medura. So these are some 2-3 pratyayas Kale has given in his critical notes at the end. So Atimatra Bhasuratvam, the extra brilliance. Atimatra Bhasuratvam Bhanoho Parigrahat Anilaha Pushyati. This is the sentence, okay. That extra brilliance Anala gets because of Bhanu, okay. Similarly, Nisha Parigrihitaha Chandraha api Mahimanam Adhigachati. Similarly, Nisha Parigrihitaha, favored by the night, Chandra also, the moon also attains more greatness. So, Alam Swapaksha Avasada Shankaya. Don't be afraid that your party, that is Ganadasa, will lose. Have faith in that. And it is, like provoking and instigating and making her aware of her own designation of Radni. If he is the king, you are the queen. Don't underestimate yourself, your power and your party's power. Okay. I think we'll stop here. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Keep asking questions. And one more thing I just wanted to tell you, here on 25th of April, it is Vaishakha Shuddha Panchami and Adi Shankara Jayanti in Adi Shankara Nilayam. It will be online also, so the link could be shared, okay, to all the participants. And secondly, I feel this is a good opportunity for you to give some Guru Dakshina. We are in the 5th drama, 4 dramas are already over. These are the free lecture series, but we incur cost on media, IT, and on Sundays, every Sunday they are working for us. So you can mention Ola lecture series Guru Dakshina, and I request the media people to put a link of our what bank account and all. You can put in the link, and whenever whatever is possible, it is not what you give, but it is the feeling with which you give. So it's normally after completion of the Vidyas, the Guru used to ask for Guru Dakshina. This Guru Dakshina is not for me, is for the people and the staff of SIF. So the lectures are free, but I think we owe some Guru Dakshina at the end of every play. I didn't ask for Guru Dakshina for all the 4 plays, but I think now on this occasion, you can give something. So it's our duty, we shouldn't take anything for free, right? So with that, we meet next Sunday with more beautiful verses, and bye till then. Namo Namaha. Dhanyavada.